Hello and welcome back to Lefty's Workshop. This is my new ultrasonic cleaner. I know nothing about it. My kids got it for me for Father's Day. Aren't they great? This is an 1896 Sargent Company wrench made in New Haven, Connecticut. I bought this on a recent trip. I was in New Hampshire, and it was in an antique store. It was only $10. You can't beat that. The only thing I've done to it so far was to clean it so I could see the name. I think the wood handle is new because I can't imagine a almost 130-year-old handle looking that good. But we're gonna soak it using my new thing. I'm not gonna put the wood in there. We're gonna put the metal part in there and see what comes out. I'm gonna put some degreaser in there. Just some. Sorry about the crazy noise. The ultrasonic mechanism messes with my microphone. So we're giving the old Sargent wrench a bath. Look at all the dirt coming out. Ew. I would have never been able to get that out without this machine. So as you can see here, this white goo is coming out of the wrench. I assume that's old oil. I really don't know, but a lot of this came out and then like some black stuff, and so it got really clean. Now, it doesn't look much different, but the action is a heck of a lot faster. So what is this thing? It's a wrench. This is a common style of wrench that was made in the 1800s up until probably about the 1920s. I have never heard of this brand before purchasing it. It just looked cool, and it was cheap. I'm glad it was made in New England because you know how much I love New England tools. But why is this like this, and a more modern day wrench is like this? Now, this style of wrench back in the day was called, the smaller version, it was called a bicycle wrench. This is about the size of what they would have called a mechanic's wrench, and then bigger than this was called a railroad wrench. This basically turned into this and this. They don't really make this anymore. Well, Hand Tool Rescue does, and they're wicked cool. Different style, slightly smaller, more based on the bicycle wrench. But basically you have these two things. Now, I like this. You can adjust it with your thumb, with one hand. Another advantage of it is they grip really, really well. So you can tighten that and that doesn't come out. Whereas the more modern wrench, I mean, yeah, it tightens, but like, it doesn't tighten. It will fall out. And then this is, we would call this a pipe wrench or a plumber's wrench. Now this works with the spinning friction. It's a totally different kind of thing. So the question arises, how did we get from this to this and this? Well, I did a little research online, and this wrench, which is sometimes called the monkey wrench, is basically an evolution of old British wagon wheel wrenches that was basically refined to this state in about the 1830s, 1840s. This wrench was invented, which we call in America the adjustable wrench or the crescent wrench, was invented by Swedish inventor Johann Peter Johansson. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Around the turn of the 20th century. And it is often called the crescent wrench in America because the company Crescent, which is now, I don't even know who owns it anymore, was the first company in America to have the patent for this. The internet tells me that this superseded this because this is too heavy and the jaws on this are narrower and fit into things, which is true. jaws on that are a heck of a lot more narrow. Anyway, enough of the history lesson. Let's start the restoration. All right, so we're going to start with the wire brush. So she's all cleaned up. I've never had a wrench wire brush so easily. That cleaned up real nice. However, there is some pitting. I mean, the thing is 130 years old. There's going to be pitting. I don't see any traces of a pin that would hold the head on, so I'm assuming it does say solid bar. So maybe it's a solid piece of metal. I was owned by somebody named ES. There's a bunch of other little points here that maybe form an H and a K. I'm not quite certain what that is. Certainly not a factory marking. There doesn't appear to be any markings on this side. So next what we're going to do is we're going to use the belt sander, I think. We're going to close the jaws closed all the way. And then try to get rid of some of these beat up things. I think somebody used the end of it as a hammer. Something makes me think I saw somewhere written that that was like an intended purpose was to be a hammer as well. So we're going to clean up with the belt sander. So that cleaned up really good. I don't think a lot of this is rust. I think it's just 1800s metallurgy. Yeah, so we'll clean it up some more. Gonna try and get all the beat upness on here done. This may just be a fool's errand. Who knows if it's gonna work? But I have the wrench and the Yankee vise here, and we're gonna just to try to do them parallel. This is Lefty from the future. Yeah, that didn't work at all. Now we're going to go through the sandpaper grits and try to get a lot of those scratches out. Now we're going to go through the sandpaper grits with this and then hand and try to get out some of those scratches. All right, we got it all clean. Well, I mean, all the rust off and many of the dents and dings. I think that's just 1800s casting. I'm not 100% certain. But now you'll notice it's dirty again. We gotta blue it. To blue it, it needs to be clean. So we are going to put it in the bath again. So this is the kit I got. Bluing kit. Or for those of you north of the border, Ensemble pour pistolet à liquide bleu. So I've never used anything like this before. Watched a few YouTube videos on it, which is where I do a lot of my learning. So we're going to learn together on this. Yes, learn together. How much I hate plastic. Alright, so it comes with a bottle of cleaner degreaser. Probably be using that. A bottle of Perma Blue. And a bottle of blue and rust remover. Well, we already did that. We removed the rust and it didn't have any bluing on it, so we're gonna not use that. So before you ask what is bluing, I will show you. So you see here on my gray Canada wrench how like the metal here looks black, or on my Stall Willie, same deal, how the metal is black. That's bluing. I don't know why they call it bluing. It comes out black, but that's what it is. It's kind of it's a sealant. It's not like painting. It's a kind of like acid that goes on the metal and keeps it from rusting and preserves its finish. All right. Also in the kits we have a sponge, steel wool. Looks like something I use for plumbing. No idea what that is. Barricade wipes, rust protection for pew-pews. Get some sandpaper. Oh, good, the directions. Now, unlike many people, I can't say this. I usually throw the directions away, but I have no idea what I'm doing here. So I'm actually going to read these directions and figure it out. Speaking of cleaning, there's an interesting tip here. It says, when you think it's clean enough, clean it 2 more times. I hate cleaning. So it says don't touch the metal with your fingers. So got the wife's 2 small gloves on. She does glitter on, what do you call those, like coffee cup things? I forget the name, but yeah, this is what we got. We did have a little bit of rust form, so we're going to use the blue and rust remover first. It says to put it on the areas with his rust. This stuff smells unpleasant. And then to scrub it with the steel wool soaked in the stuff. Oh, jeez. That worked quick. Some good stuff. So look, got a little bit of rust right there. Look at that, all gone. Wicked cool. All right, now it says to reapply the degreaser and scrub it with a sponge, which it has provided. So far, this is an excellent kit. I mean, I don't own a pew-pew, but you know, if I did, I would use this. All right. Now we scrub it with some water, it says. Now it did very clearly say, if you think it's clean, do it 2 more times. So I am gonna do it 2 more times. All right, so it says to do it in the sections, so I think we're just gonna do the top head part first. In fact, we're gonna put it in the vise, so I don't have to hold it. So as I said, we're just gonna be doing the tip first. It's actually blue. Oh, wow. It says to go fast. Oh, that had an immediate effect. Next, it says to let it stand for 30 seconds or no longer than that, and then neutralize it in water. And then wipe it down. That came out pretty good. Oh, a little splotchy in places, but we'll mess with it. So now it says to lightly go over the entire surface. It's just provided steel wool. All right, I gotta say, for a first time, this is, I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing, but like, it came out good. So for those of you who don't really know what this is, it's basically like stain for metal. I mean, that's not what it is, but it's kind of the same thing. It's not paint. Like, you still see the original metal finish, but it's darkening the color. That came out great. I'm pleased as punch with that. This is definitely something I'm going to keep in my arsenal. Ha ha ha! Get it? Arsenal. In the future for other tools, and I may even fix the bluing on some of my other tools. But yeah, that came out really good. Really happy with that. And then to finish it off, we're going to use a little bit of Danish oil on the handle. Just wipe it on. And then, look at that. Just polish it up a little bit there. And that looks beautiful. So this came out really nice. For my first time ever bluing, I'm quite happy with the results. I mean, it's a little splotchy, but you know, I'll get better at it. I'm really happy. It came out nice. I'm gonna put it in my Connecticut toolbox. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next week.